Hello and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about the footballing legend that is Alex Scott. Before we do so, as always, we need to do some shout-outs and read out some of your messages. The first message of this episode reads, "Hi, our names are Seb and Daniel. We are great friends and 7 years old. We live in Jersey in the Channel Islands and play for Grooveville Minis. And we listen to your podcast on the way to school and we really enjoy it. Please can you do an episode on Mo Salah and Son Heung-min?" Well, boys, thank you very much for being listeners, and I can tell you that I've already got those two footballers on my list. The list of footballers and football topics I've got to cover now is getting longer and longer, so that's brilliant news. Keep sending your requests and ideas in. The next one on this episode goes to Ted and his friend William, who are both 8 years old. They are avid listeners of the podcast and they both play for Jarvis Brook FC in Crowborough. Ted supports Brighton and Hove Albion and William supports Chelsea. They love everything about football. Well, that's great news, boys. I hope that your team's doing well and most importantly, you're enjoying your football. And the next one says, "We are Charlie and Eddie Woosley from Thurston in Suffolk. We support Arsenal and Ipswich. We love your podcast and listen to it every night. Please could you do an episode on Wes Burns and Benzema?" Well, there's another two to add to the list. Well, thank you very much for being listeners and thank you so much for your requests. I really appreciate it. And the last one on this episode comes all the way from Canada, from Henry. It says, "Hi Darren, I'm Henry and I love your podcast. I play school football with my mates and I would love an episode on Messi versus Ronaldo. Thanks for a great podcast and I have learnt a lot from the podcast." Well, thank you very much, Henry, and it's good to know that we've got listeners over in Canada. Well, if you'd like to send a message to shout out to your football team or your football mates or send a request in or whatever it is, then you can ask an adult to send an email to footballforkidspodcast@gmail.com. And please tell me which country you listen in and also what football team you play for if you play for a football team. Right then, let's get on with this episode about the brilliant, the magnificent, the truly tremendous Alex Scott. Alex was born in the East End of London in 1984 and grew up in a place where everyone was bonkers about football. Alex would play in the cage with all of the boys. She was the only girl, so she had to let her football do the talking. Alex was playing for her brother's team at one point, and when she was spotted by a football ref. Luckily, that ref was friends with the manager of the ladies' Arsenal team. And it was organised for Alex to have a trial at Arsenal Football Club. So although Alex was clearly talented and worked very, very hard to become the best that she could be, sometimes it's handy to be in the right place at the right time. And the only way you do that is by giving something a go and taking opportunities. After Alex had her trial, they signed her to Arsenal. She was an Arsenal footballer. This was a massive deal for Alex. Alex was only 8 years old when she joined Arsenal, and she stayed with the club for around 12 years the first time round. When Alex was 16 years old, she had a part-time job at the laundry, washing all the Arsenal kits. She said that she didn't complain though, as it was a great opportunity to spend some more time at Arsenal and with some legends of Arsenal Football Club, like Ian Wright. If you haven't heard about Ian Wright, don't worry, we'll do an episode about him in the not so distant future. Wow, what a player Ian Wright was. In 2004, Alex was sat down by the Arsenal manager and was given some devastating news. She was told by the manager that they weren't sure if she was going to make it and continue being an Arsenal player, and Alex was sent out on loan to Birmingham. Alex knew if she wanted to get back to Arsenal, she would need to pull her socks up, pull her sleeves up and really go for it. So that is what she did. Alex had a tremendous season at Birmingham City and played really well. So well that she was called up to play for her country, England. Alex was brilliant at Birmingham, and at the end of the season, she was called back to play for Arsenal. Alex was a major part of Arsenal winning the double that season. They won both the league and the FA Cup. And in the 2006-2007 season, Alex and her Arsenal teammates had one hell of a season, winning the quadruple. That is something which is extremely rarely done. And that doesn't matter what league it's in, what country it's in, and whether it's the men's football or the women's football. After a few years back at her beloved Gunners, Alex went to play in America. She went across the pond to join a team called the Boston Breakers. She played 55 amazing games for them across different parts of America. What an amazing achievement and an amazing experience. In 2012, Alex Scott made her return back to England, and of course, it was only to one place, back to her Gunners, for a third time. Alex captained the squad and spent another 6 years with Arsenal, playing 76 games for them. Alex played her last game for Arsenal against Manchester City, and Arsenal won 2-1. What a way to end it with Arsenal. I mentioned earlier that Alex got a call up for England when she was loaned out to Birmingham. Alex had a wonderful career for her country and represented England with pride and passion. She played for England since the under-19 squad, playing 120 games for the Lionesses. And although she was a right back, she still stuck 12 corkers into the back of the net. Alex and the England team picked up the bronze medal at the 2015 World Cup and made the finals of the 2009 Euros. Not only has Alex been a star player and captained one of the most successful and feared teams in women's football, but she represented her country and was a part of a Team GB squad at the London 2012 Olympics. Since retiring from football, Alex has started her own academy. She's appeared on TV competition shows. She's a top football pundit, a brilliant presenter, and so much more. So from football in a cage with all of the boys to cementing her name in the books of football, Alex Scott is a remarkable lady who kids and adults are inspired by. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about the story of Alex Scott and her career so far. Remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly, or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.